Okay, I just wanted to do this really quick video, kind of logging the output between my i2000 and Heli 2.0 over a 5-minute stretch. We do have a pretty windy day. This is my general area here. We have winds sitting in the 28, 29, 30 mile an hour range, and gusts are almost unbearable. 48, 44, 47. Very heavy, very strong winds, and the crummy part is super erratic. It will be blowing 5 miles an hour for a minute, and then all of a sudden it's blowing 50. It's really kind of difficult to deal with. And I posted a video here just a little while ago, and that was one of the things somebody mentioned was, it looks really, unstable and erratic because the i2000 was just flopping around. Well, I mean, it was blowing, 10 miles an hour, and then suddenly it's hit with, 30 or 40, and then it's back and forth. It's kind of hard for them to track that. And man, I kind of feel bad for these guys over here in New Mexico. 72. 73 miles an hour. This is Ruidoso and Capitan. I hope those guys are staying indoors and keeping their roofs on. Anyway, all right, so like I said, I got a 5-minute stretch of just the output. Now, again, I know the same as my all-day log. I know these videos are not super interesting because you're just sitting there looking at numbers. You can skip all the way to the end of it. The graph's at the end of it, and there will also be a link to the graph on my Google Drive down in the description below if you just want to go and grab the numbers. It's not super relevant information, or not necessarily not relevant information. It's not super useful information because it's a small snapshot of what's going on in my environment today. What I intend it to be is just kind of showing how the two turbines are comparing to one another in the same wind. They are both being hit with a more easterly wind, so they're not in the downwash of any other turbine. They both have as clean air as what they can get. So this is going to be as fair a comparison between the two as I can generally pull off. One of the things that one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I've gotten multiple comments across the Facebook groups and on my YouTube videos talking about how the i2000 and the Heli 2.0 are both 2,000 watt rated turbines, but we're seeing that the Heli is just outperforming the i2000 by a large margin. And it's because even though they're both rated 2,000 watts, the Heli is a much bigger turbine. The generator is much larger. It's designed to work at a much lower, or start producing more power at a much lower RPM. It's got a much fatter power band, whereas the i2000 is pretty linear from 0 going up. And this is what you're going to see here is an example of why the Heli costs more. It costs more because it makes more power, most of the time. Going off of the rated wattages is kind of a tricky thing because a turbine can make 2,000 watts or 3,000 watts or however many watts, but whenever the manufacturers determine what that wattage rating is, it is at a very specific speed, wind speed, very specific wind density, all that kind of stuff. Certain conditions, it will reach 2,000 watts. Now, I've already seen the i2000 exceed 2,000 watts, so it can do it, but the most important metric is going to be how much power it can produce over time. So there's that. Talked more than I intended to. So now it's going to be a 10-minute long video, but that's how it plays out sometimes. Those of you who are watching, thank you. I really appreciate it. Again, you can skip straight to the end. Just get the important information. And have a wonderful day, guys.